Kabul not for India. Nirmala says no recession. Nancy Pelosi dares China in Taiwan. The drone killing of Al Qaeda face Ayman al Zawahiri by the US on the order of President Joe Biden signals the Western world bracing up to give up on the Doha Accord that allowed the Taliban to take power in Afghanistan. I am Manish Anand bringing to you daily analysis of the editorials carried in India's top English newspapers. The Taliban broke the Doha Accord that specifically mandated that the Afghan soil wouldn't be used to shelter terrorists. Within a few months of taking over the power in Kabul, the Taliban sheltered Ayman al Zawahiri, the face of Al Qaeda, in the heart of the city, the man who was responsible for 9/11 and several attacks world over against American interests and other countries in the last 3 decades. All the newspapers in India have commented on the killing of the face of Al Qaeda, with common theme running in them, in which they have cautioned India from legitimizing the Taliban regime. The Indian Express cited that a UN committee had flagged the Taliban breaking the Doha Accord in June itself. But the Delhi doesn't inform that by the same time, the Joint Secretary in the Ministry of External Affairs, JP Singh, along with a delegation of officials, was sipping tea with the top leadership of the Taliban. The newspapers have ran through the terror career of Ayman al Zawahiri while pointing out that the franchisee model of Al Qaeda has now been taken over by its various deadly offshoots in Iraq, Syria, Indian subcontinent, North Africa, and elsewhere. Nirmala says no recession. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman replied to the discussions in both the houses of Parliament after the short discussion under Rule 193 that entails no voting, and asserted that India neither needs to fear slipping into recession or stagflation. Most of the newspapers have commented on Sitharaman's claims in the Lok Sabha last evening and the Rajya Sabha also, with some of them arguing that even while India may not go into a technical recession, the fear inflation rather remains quite high at 7.01%, which is way above the comfort level of the Reserve Bank of India. The newspapers have also quoted the International Monetary Fund scaling down India's growth projections. Deccan Herald, in its edit, has noted that while the IMF's projection for the world economy is gloomy, India slightly fares better. The Economic Times has contrasted India's growth rates with that of the US and China, while noting that there will be lesser demands for the Indian goods in some of the largest trading partners of the country. The Delhi, however, stays short to dig deeper and ignores that India slowing down is much more disappointing, and there is no ground for comparison with China or the US, which have seen decades of high growth. Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House of America, dares China in Taiwan. Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan has been the top story of the world since Tuesday evening, and yet only the Hindu could come out with an edit on the development which threatens to bring war closer to India. Quote, Ms. Pelosi is the highest ranking US official to visit Taiwan in 25 years, the first by a House Speaker since Newt Gingrich's trip in 1997. That visit took place in the aftermath of the third Taiwan Strait crisis, when China conducted missile tests in response to the then Taiwan President Lee Teng-hui visiting the US, unquote, reminded the Hindu. The Delhi further added, quote, that the visit appears to have been driven largely by Ms. Pelosi, who has been sharply critical of China's policies in Tibet, Xinjiang, and Hong Kong, rather than by the Biden administration, has not appeared to have assuaged Beijing, unquote. However, the Delhi seems to have missed out on the larger context in which Pelosi's visit to Taiwan fits in, and that Is the world order meltdown in the aftermath of Russian invasion of Ukraine and the COVID-19 pandemic? So that was all we had in today's analysis of the editorials carried in India's top English newspapers. Thank you so much.